Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going on a fascinating journey through time to explore something most of us see and live without, the mobile phone. It's hard to imagine, but there was a time when being able to call someone on the go was pure science fiction. Let's rewind the clock and see just how far we've come. Our story begins in 1983 with a real giant, both in size and in historical importance, the Motorola Dynatec 8000X. This wasn't just a phone, it was a status symbol. Imagine lugging this thing around. It was over a foot long and weighed almost 2 pounds. We are talking about the size of a brick, and people affectionately called it the brick phone. Its battery life was laughably short by today's standards. You did get about 30 minutes of talk time after a grueling 10-hour charge. And what could it do? One thing, and one thing only: make and receive voice calls. There was no screen to speak of, no messaging, no internet. Just a keypad and an antenna. The price tag? A cool $4,000, which is equivalent to over $10,000 today. It was a luxury item, a tool for high-powered executives, and a world away from the device in your pocket right now. But despite its limitations, the Dynatec 8000X was revolutionary. It was the first truly portable, commercially available cell phone, and it planted the seed for the mobile revolution that was to come. It proved that the dream of untethered communication was possible. As we move into the 1990s, the mobile phone landscape started to change dramatically. The brick was on its way out, and a new era of smaller, more accessible digital phones was dawning. This was the decade where phones began to shrink, shedding their bulky exteriors for more pocket-friendly designs. A key player in this transformation was Nokia. Remember the Nokia 1011? Released in 1992, it was one of the first mass-produced GSM phones, the digital standard that would dominate the world. It was significantly smaller and lighter than the Dynatec. But the real game-changer of the 90s wasn't just about size. In 1992, the first ever SMS, or short message service, was sent. The message simply read, "Merry Christmas." It was a seemingly small event, but it would fundamentally change how we communicate. By the mid to late 90s, phones like the iconic Nokia 5110 became hugely popular. These devices were durable, had interchangeable faceplates for personalization, and crucially, they made texting mainstream. Suddenly, you could communicate silently and instantly. The 160-character limit forced us to be creative with language, giving birth to text-speak and emoticons. This decade was about making mobile phones personal and bringing communication beyond just voice. Entering the new millennium, the 2000s, our phones got a serious upgrade. They weren't just for calling and texting anymore, they were becoming feature phones. The most noticeable change? Color screens. Those old monochrome green and black displays were replaced by vibrant, colorful ones that could show off photos and custom wallpapers. And speaking of photos, this was the decade when cameras started appearing on phones. The first camera phones, like the Sharp JSH04 released in Japan in 2000, had incredibly low-resolution cameras by today's standards, maybe 0.1 megapixels. The pictures were grainy and small, but the concept was mind-blowing. You could capture a moment and instantly have a digital copy. This was also the era of the flip phone, like the super slim Motorola RAZR, which became a cultural icon. And let's not forget the internet. WAP, or Wireless Application Protocol, gave us our first taste of the mobile web. It was slow, clunky, and text-heavy, but you could check news headlines, sports scores, and even download new ringtones. Polyphonic ringtones were a huge deal. For the first time, your phone could play a little melody instead of just beeping. This decade set the stage for the smartphone by packing more and more features: music, games, basic internet, and cameras into one device. Then, in 2007, everything changed. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and introduced a device that would redefine the industry and our relationship with technology forever: the first Apple iPhone. It wasn't the first phone with a touchscreen, nor the first with internet access, but it was the first to combine them in a way that was intuitive, elegant, and incredibly powerful. The iPhone did away with the physical keyboard, replacing it with a large multi-touch display that you could pinch, swipe, and tap. It was like magic. It put a full-featured web browser in your pocket, not the stripped-down WAP version, but the real internet. But perhaps the most revolutionary part came a year later, in 2008, with the launch of the App Store. This created a whole new ecosystem. Suddenly, your phone wasn't just a device with features built in by the manufacturer, it was a platform. Developers from all over the world could create applications, apps, for anything you could imagine. Games, social media, productivity tools, navigation, the possibilities were endless. The iPhone's success spurred a wave of competition, most notably from Google's Android operating system, leading to a rapid acceleration in innovation that we are still experiencing today. The smartphone revolution had begun, and it turned our phones from communication tools into indispensable portals to our digital lives. And that brings us to today. The devices we carry now are supercomputers that would have been unimaginable just a couple of decades ago. Screens are bigger, brighter, and have higher resolutions than many TVs from the 2000s. We have multiple high-powered cameras capable of shooting professional quality photos and 4K video. Under the hood, artificial intelligence is everywhere. AI powers our virtual assistants like Siri and Google Assistant. It helps improve our photos in real time, and it personalizes our news feeds and recommendations. Connectivity has taken a massive leap forward with 5G, offering speeds that allow us to stream high-definition content and play online games with virtually no lag. We are also seeing new form factors emerge. Foldable screens, once a sci-fi dream, are now a reality with devices like the Samsung Galaxy Fold, blurring the line between phone and tablet. So, what does the future hold? It's hard to say for certain, but the trends point towards even more seamless integration of technology into our lives. We might see transparent or holographic displays that project information into the world around us. Imagine getting navigation directions that appear right on the street in front of you. Advancements in battery technology could lead to phones that last for weeks on a single charge or even charge wirelessly from the air around them. Brain-computer interfaces could one day allow us to control our devices with just a thought. It sounds like science fiction, but remember, so did the idea of a portable phone back in the 1970s. The journey from the Motorola brick to the foldable phones of today has been incredible, and the only thing we know for sure is that the evolution is far from over. What do you think the next big leap in mobile tech will be? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos about the technology that shapes our world. See you in the next one.